Hey there, everybody. So we're back again for another edition of the Livestream Overload. I know I probably completely screwed that up just now. Like, I think the audio was on one of the streams, and I was like, is the music stopping? I don't know. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're here. We're back. Super high tech, straight to you from Vienna and Tel Aviv. We have a great guest today, our friend Josh Newman, who we're excited to talk to in just a few minutes. But beforehand, I would like to first ask Fabio, how you doing, man?
What's going on, Jason? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's still, I have to say, it's still strange. Like, it feels like things are getting back to normal here, but then you look around the world and see everything's crazy still. So, yeah, it's going to be a while, but I'm feeling good. It's nice and warm here. Summertime.
Yeah, nice. It's also warm, very warm here in Tel Aviv. Nothing is going on at the moment. This is one of the countries that is suffering the most from the spikes in new cases from Corona. And basically, the government here has been doing what they have done also in Serbia lately, that they've been lying to the people, and so information was not clear, and people, they're not respecting the laws anymore because they cannot trust the government. And I'm just saying this because I realized that lately there is a lot happening also in Serbia with the protests and everything, and I hope that those who are watching us, our friends, that they're all safe and sound. And like that this situation is going to get resolved as soon as possible, because again, we are against any type of oppression, and seeing things like this happening to our friends and colleagues over there, it's heartbreaking. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, well, I've got a little positive news as well then. I mean, we have been working hard on the D2 online, which will be coming up at the end of August. We've got most of our speakers lined up already, and we've got some really freaking good ones, which we are super excited about. And here's where it gets a little
catch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets a little tricky for everybody who's going to be joining us. We're not going to tell you who it is. Don't even ask us. We're not going to tell you. But they're big, so we've got some really big people talking, and it's gonna be really good. But you got to tune in and find out who it is. You got to tune in and find out when they're coming on, who's going to be there. That's just how it's going to be. So we're doing a little experiment. We want to see how this goes, but we think that it'll be worthwhile because we think that everyone is going to really enjoy it. So yeah, why not? I mean,
and also. This edition of the D2, since it's going to be online, it's going to be interactive. And so those who are listening from home, they will have the chance to contact us, and we will try to bring them on the show to ask questions to any of the speakers that we're going to have. It's going to be a cool, very interesting format. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be fun. I'm very excited, actually.
Yeah, I am too. And another like something that we are excited about is that we're hoping we can actually do it together, like in a studio, in live from the studio. Fabio and I, and perhaps Christian will be around as well, which will be cool because we can like at least we can be together, if not with everybody else. But and I think that this will help make the feeling a little bit better, and hopefully it'll be even more fun that way. If I can like hit Fabio, if he's not, he's not paying
Well, we
attention.
need to keep the social distance, and also like we need to continuously disinfect our hands.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you noticed, but my neighbor just decided to start drilling
You can't
in
hear
a
it.
house that. Okay, that's good because my house is a block of concrete. I don't know if I told you this, but all the houses in Tel Aviv, the new houses, are basically bomb-proof because they have their own
Yeah.
reasons for that. And now that I have no furniture, the echo in this room is incredible. A fart
It's true.
belittle the vibration.
It does sound different.
Bouncing off the wall, it can kill a person.
Yeah, it's true. It actually, ever since you started, after you moved all your stuff out, every time we talk, I'm like, man, it's got that empty house feeling. Yeah.
It's terrible.
But what do you have actually there? I mean, do you have like a suitcase with clothes in it? Is that it? I mean, what are you doing?
Well, we still have like some pieces of furniture where our clothes are inside, but
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
But it
Like,
was there. It came with the place, or what?
I have a tour of my house. It's like,
So did all that furniture was already there, or what, in the place?
yeah,
Oh, okay. It's also a little bit weird
one
when
of
you think
those-
about it, though, huh?
it's one of those houses with the pre-furnished.
Fully
It's for people that do this kind of jobs, they go around and don't need
Yeah.
to buy everything.
Yeah. So,
But
okay.
anyway, man,
Yeah, we've been.
should we bring on our guest for
Yeah,
today?
absolutely. We've been talking for like almost 8 minutes, and he's sitting there patiently with his sound off, which was also nice. So, Josh, you can turn the sound on now.
Petting his mustache.
So yeah, let's not waste any more time, Josh. Thank you a lot for joining us. It's good to have you. You are on camera now, so you can say hi,
Hello,
everybody.
everyone. Thanks for having me on. That's fantastic to be here.
You were wondering
Our
when. You were
pleasure,
wondering
man.
when are they going to ask me? When? Yeah. Okay. Every time we're on the 3DS London, he's like, when are they going to ask me to talk? Right? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I pretty much had to ask you. I don't know how it really works.
We got 11 people watching. This is sort of like it's good. It's good for the new show.
I know it sounds like not that many, but I think it's not bad. I mean, these people have taken the time out to actually sit down. So everybody from the 3DS London organizing committee are watching right now.
Yeah, and my parents and the kids downstairs and the dog.
Yeah, but that's okay. Actually, you'll see by the time it's over, usually around 40, 50 people have come in and watched a little bit and gone away, but that's like a normal thing.
So can we kindly ask those 11 visitors watching right now to click the like button?
Do not click the dislike button.
There
It
are
makes us feel better about ourselves.
there are 3 likes right now and 11 people watching. There's something wrong with those numbers.
I have to be honest with you, man. One of those likes is mine.
Same here.
Yeah,
It's not from the
I just did one
D2.
as well.
It's from my Jason Bergeron account with 0 subscribers and 0 videos. Because that's how we like to do it here, But Josh, I actually always try to come up with like a name for each edition of this live show that we're doing, and I could only come up with one for you, of course, and that's the lockdown beard edition because I saw you the other day at the 3DS London, and I was like, wow, man, it's getting crazy. You're like Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is completely getting out of control. I'm going to have to probably extend the house to fit my moustache in. I think make the doors a bit wider.
Exactly.
I've actually, the hairdressers and barbers are actually gone. They went back to work last weekend, so I've got an appointment on Monday with my boy to get a haircut. But
Yeah.
due to government regulations, they're not allowed to trim beards and moustaches.
What? Oh, because you have to wear a mask, right? So you can't be unmasked.
Well, yeah, I have to wear a mask, and they're not allowed to touch around the mouth and the face and things like this. And they'll be—I don't know what they're going to be wearing. I imagine some kind of hazmat suit or something.
Soon they're gonna be calling you Mustache Josh.
Yeah, exactly. Oh
My,
my God.
My boy looks a little bit like Cousin It from the Addams Family. His hair is like all the way down here.
Like it's a little bit too late to be an emo.
I don't know if I used this joke already, but if I'd known that the lockdown was going to last so long, I would have had 2 haircuts at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard that joke yet. That's a good one. I like that. So I did a little, I don't know if you, Josh, if you're actually able to watch the feed right now. Are you watching do you have the live feed on over there somewhere?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see the comments as well. So thanks everyone.
Yeah. So I'm throwing up something right now on the screen, which is, a selection of crazy mustaches from Google Images, and I'm wondering if you're gonna look like, one of these people in the near future. These people are pretty styled though. Like I would say, but maybe you can get some ideas because I think you could actually pull off some really cool like styles right now. I don't know, can you see this, any of these? But anyway, there's like, this guy's got, he's the 2019 National Beard Champion. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you should think about entering. Anyway.
That guy in the middle looks like he's wearing some bagels.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe a giant pretzel or something. I'm a bit concerned about that guy with the side beard on the right hand side. That's a bit weird, no?
Yeah, it's a little strange. It is.
That's something else.
It's weird, yeah. But yeah, Nigel said we should make a D2
what?
competition.
My boy wants to get a mohawk actually, and I said to my wife this morning, why did we not just give him a mohawk at the beginning of it? Because by the time he goes back to school in September, he'd have normal hair again.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
The bright green mohawk would grow out.
But finally, this actually. So go ahead. Sorry.
I kept telling that to my wife. I said I want to get him like a proper Mohican, and it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
A week ago, my razor fell on the floor because I used to trim my beard. And so now I'm basically screwed because they closed down the barbers again. And so this will grow. The next 2 weeks, I'm going to be like,
yeah,
but anyway.
Yours
Josh,
gets really fuzzy.
Looking at those photographs, looking at those beards and moustaches, I feel like I'm really not trying hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh, listen, we have a little bit of a tradition at the Overload, and this tradition is to ask our guests 5 lightning questions just to break the ice. Not like we need it with you, but it has become a funny tradition, and these questions, they represent very cool conversation starter.
Okay.
We got 5 questions for you. Are you ready? Yes, no?
Yeah. Always ready.
All right, so 3, 2, 1. Josh, regular Coke or diet?
Oh, regular, definitely.
You rather shave your armpits or your chest?
Probably my chest because I don't have any chest hair.
Forrest Gump or The Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
Neither. They're both terrible movies as far as I can tell.
Forrest Gump, come on, man.
Could you actually show Forrest Gump in this day and age? It's not very modern, is it?
No.
Wait. We're not at that stage yet. Next question: chopsticks or fork?
Depends what I'm eating, but I'm fine with chopsticks or fork. I've been using a fork for a long time now.
You've got to pick one, man.
All right, chopsticks. I'll go chopsticks.
Think about eating pasta with chopsticks. Photography or painting?
For me, photography, I think. I'm a much better photographer than I am a painter.
We're done.
Perhaps.
Congratulations, you graduated from the D2 University.
Amazing.
Maybe we should start doing multiple choice to make it harder.
I thought you were going to ask me something silly like, would you rather be eaten by one big shark or 1,000 small sharks?
That's a good one. Okay.
It'll be the next time.
We're gonna put you on. You're gonna be question consultant, okay? From now on. Or maybe
You rather be eaten by a shark or be pooped by a shark? It's a chicken and egg situation.
They kind of go together, I think.
Actually, I think that this is something also we can do next week. When we announce who the speaker is, we ask people, you got a question for us? Send it to us. Well, we could be one of the questions that gets asked.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But
so, Josh, come on. What is wrong with Forrest Gump? It always makes me cry, that movie.
Forrest Gump. You know what? I never liked it in the first place. I mean, the technology was cool. I mean, the groundbreaking stuff they did by recreating loads of dead people. Obviously, pretty easy to do with today's technology. I think there's loads of people on bizarre internet chat rooms doing exactly that. I think.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Life's like a box of chocolates. I mean, it was just a little bit self-indulgent. I think in terms of as a movie, self-indulgent drivel is how I would describe it.
All right.
Would you like any other movie reviews?
Like the funny thing is that I watched that movie maybe. Can you hear the drilling?
No,
we can't.
It's so loud. Anyway, I watched that movie 100 times, and it took me like, I don't know, maybe last year I found out that the woman that plays Jenny, she's actually the actress that plays Claire.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Is it Claire? No, I did not know that.
Cards, yeah.
In House of Cards.
Yeah.
And I was like, face is so familiar to me. Why? Where do I know this woman from?
Yeah.
I saw something else recently that she was in as well that I didn't realize it was her. I think it's The Princess Bride. I don't know if you remember this film.
Was she?
She's also. Yeah, she's the lead female.
Oh, really? Now that I think about it, yeah, it's true.
I was looking. I was like, who is that actress? And I had to look it up. And oh my gosh.
The Princess Bride. Oh, I thought that this was like a movie with Eddie Murphy, but not.
No, this is it's actually quite a good. It's
And
also
this is
quite
another
a
movie that doesn't really stand the test of time as well. It's a little bit. There's a few scenes in there where you think in this day and age, you wouldn't really get away with saying that in a movie,
Is it a funny movie?
Yeah,
I think it's
got
quite
everything. Yeah, it's got like a little bit of everything. That's a good movie.
Right.
It's funny. There were a lot of pulp culture kind of references to that movie, like after it was out, because it was I don't know. It's pretty funny. I don't know. So can you guys hear me? Because I know you guys can hear me, but Nigel said something about my mic getting quiet. I think it's just because I got too far away from it, maybe. But if anybody has any problems, just tell me.
You're fine. I think there was a moment where I wondered, but I think you're okay.
I think I was not talking towards it. I think it looks pretty good.
Anyway.
So awkward silence, huh?
Yeah, we're
now. Listen, the silence in this conversation that we're going to have is the least awkward thing that you can expect.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that the D2 is going ahead in whatever format that you guys are going to pull together. And that's brilliant news. I'm really looking forward to it. Are you still going to be hosting the CGA as well, the CG Architect Awards?
We cannot really say anything.
Yeah, I mean we can't. Well, I mean we know a little bit of inside information from Jeff, and we don't want to. We shouldn't say anything about it at this point. So,
I've asked that.
But it's our
it's a good
intention to
question.
get involved.
It's not a bad question, but I mean I think so. They're saying I'm very quiet. That's weird because I didn't change anything.
But I can hear you very well.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know why. It's odd. Anyway, I can I can say that
you guys are going to save a bunch of money on giant pretzel sandwiches and beer, aren't you?
Well, I mean, we're also doing it for it's free to watch, so we're not.
Yeah.
We're passing the savings on. Let's say that. You get 100% free, just like us working for free.
But bring your own beer.
Yeah.
No,
big savings.
Okay, Josh, you're asking, and that's why I'm going to tell you. But the main reason why we're doing it this year, because most likely we don't know how much involvement from the sponsors we're gonna get. We're doing it just because we have created a legacy, and we're going to push it through no matter what.
Good.
And I can tell you even like a little bit more. There is no ticket, there is no entrance fee. We're gonna do our best to make sure that the quality is going to be just like the one of a real life show, with the exception of like meeting and hanging out and have a beer together.
We'll see.
Great. Well,
we'll see what we can do. The idea is also I've been watching a lot of what like other people are doing who had normal like large conferences, and the idea is to try to do something a little bit different and kind of matching the idea of doing something online, because from what I've seen so far, I feel like the people are just doing like what would be how they would do the conference, but they would do it online. And I don't think that really works. Obviously it can't, because it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all.
Yeah.
You have to capture people's attention. You have to keep their attention, and you have to give them reasons to be watching, right? Because you don't have a captive audience like you do in a conference. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
people are funny like this, aren't they? We've been doing a bit of work with LED walls and real-time 3D studios, and it seems that people want to recreate a physical stage without thinking that they could actually create anything they want, but their mind is still really set in this kind of, we're going to recreate what our physical set would have been, even though we could, we could have absolutely anything.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I get what you mean. People don't change their mindset, do they? They just try and do exactly the same thing without thinking about the medium, the delivery.
Yeah. I saw something which I was extremely surprised about, and there's this one conference in France, a really famous VR conference, which has actually been around for like 20 years. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to be like, talking down on people, but I saw how they were doing what they were doing, and I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, this is something that's been around for this long, and today with what you can do in VR, the way that they did it, it was like, I really couldn't believe it. And I know that there's a lot of problems with still with VR stuff when you have like large groups of people. But I was just really surprised, because I mean, all the opportunities you could have, to do something in VR, and especially you are a VR conference. It was interesting to look at it and say, this is really I mean, because for me, that's how like everything revolves around the image of how people view what you're doing, right? And if you are doing a certain thing, you kind of have to have some, uh, what do you say? I can only think in German these days. Um, you have
Yeah,
to
me
have some,
too.
you have to have some, you have to have some credibility, right? And I lost it for me. It was like sometimes you see things and you think, oh, they're losing credibility just as I'm watching. And I don't know. I think you have to be careful about how you do things, you know, these days. And of course, everybody. On the other hand, I have to give them credit because they still did their conference. It was supposed to happen and it didn't happen, and so they still did it, and they were able to somehow make it happen. Which is there you have kudos for that because this is difficult, and it was a pretty short time frame. I think they had to come up with something. But at the same time, I don't
Yeah.
know. We're going to try to do something different and fun. So that's the main point.
Oh, I can't wait.
So Josh,
yeah.
no hair on your chest.
One at a time, please. Fab,
No.
go ahead, please.
Fabio, go for it.
No hair on your chest.
Sorry, say again. No hair on my chest. Well, yeah. Well, there you are. I've said too much. I really have said too much.
Does it allow you to swim faster?
Yes, it does. At least 0.1% faster.
Do you have one of those fancy one-piece swimsuits, like that's like full body, you know, like so that you can go
Like a torpedo.
Yeah, like a dolphin.
No, I don't. But I should get one.
But like, you know, with that mustache and with that beard, you would rock one of those 50s bathing suits with like, you know, vertical white and blue lines and a pipe.
I saw like an old style, yeah.
Yeah.
Like full body
and a tweed jacket.
Oh man, can you imagine going to the beach in one of those? I mean, you like to go to the beach to cool off and like be, you know, in the sun and being like nice, and you're wearing like basically a suit, you know.
It looks like a jail suit, but short.
I think I can imagine the images you're looking at.
Oh, you actually did you look it up, Fabio? What?
I cannot really share my screen with you guys because there is a lot more than just that type of suit. There is also like dudes with bulges, and okay, that's not gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna close that window.
This is going really well, this one, yeah?
Well, I have to say that, yeah, I was, yeah, no, okay, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave a couple of mysteries for the people out there. But Josh, we were talking about earlier that you're still working at home. And
yes, yes.
And how's that going exactly? Does that work for you? I mean, does that work for you guys?
It was a bit of a rocky start, to be honest. You know, we were trying to pretend like everything was fine to our clients, whilst behind the scenes everything was bloody chaos. But I think we've got a few systems worked out now, which are enabling us to work from home pretty well. Yeah. So, and I think we're going to be working from home for at least the short term anyway. It's difficult to really understand when people are going back to offices, and particularly in the UK and in London. I mean, nobody really wants to get on the tube at the moment.
Yeah,
I bought a new bike at the beginning of this lockdown, and I've been on the tube once since March, and and I don't really want to, be telling my team that they have to come into work either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we do talk about it, and I don't really think that they're that interested in, going on the tube and going to work again either.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows how we're going to be working in the future? I think this could be a real watershed moment, you know, because we are working quite successfully from home at the moment. I find it quite diabolical with my kids pretty much interrupting everything that I do constantly. So, you know, my working time has to be a little bit more flexible. So I'm working a lot more in the evenings and spending a bit of time with them in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's funny because, you know, I've always tried to make sure that my team aren't working, you know, beyond what's reasonable. You know, I haven't allowed people to have logons to the office through the VPN. You know, I discourage working late. I like people to have that separation between work and their home life and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, whereas me as the director, I've always had the VPN into the office and I'm always tinkering at stuff late at night, etc. I think that just kind of goes with it. But, you know, I've never allowed the team to do that unless, you know, unless there's particular circumstances, like they have young children and they want to be more flexible. But now that's kind of all changed and gone on its head, and now we're all working from home with VPN access, and we're all working flexible hours. And you know, if people want to take a morning off to go and do something and then work in the evening, then that's fine, and that's kind of, you know,
I think you had to do this though, because, you know, just like you see with your own kids and stuff, and the fact that like everything's shut down, it was complicated at first. It's, you know, like I think it's good that you have to let people kind of be a little more flexible at that point. But sorry, Fabio, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I do worry a little bit about the mental health of people as well, if they're not, you know, getting enough social activity and, you know, not having, like I mentioned before, that separation between work and home. So that's a challenge for the future, you know.
That's one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. Do you think this is a sustainable situation for the future? Like, because it's pretty attractive to business owners, right? You don't have to hire an office space. You don't have to have bills that you have to pay directly. You know, people can do that on their own. And I'm pretty sure that because they don't have to commute, it's also an incentive for them to wanting to do that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, it creates other costs as well, doesn't it? You know, I mean, we're as a family, we're spending a small fortune on food suddenly because the kids are not having their school meals. And you know, okay, fine. I'm saving money by not buying, you know, something nice for lunch from Exmouth Market where our studio is, but I've still got to eat. So, you know, the household bills are going up.
Yeah. But, you know, this is actually...
I don't feel like I'm saving any money by being here.
Yeah, I feel like we've actually saved a lot of money because the kids always ate at home here anyway. In Austria, they don't have school meals or anything.
Sure.
But like the idea of saving money on, you know, not going out to buy things, but then you start to realize the effect it's having on the economy, because the fact that you're not going and spending that money, somebody's not getting that money. It's actually a big, it's a bit of a disaster, actually. But I mean, let's.
Absolutely. I think for cafes and restaurants and you know, any small business operator, I think this whole thing is an economic disaster, and I worry that before Christmas we're going to see the outcome of this, you know. But that's, you know, I don't want to get sidetracked.
I think it's something that we'll see in the future what happens. I think of course it can be recovered from, but it's just going to take some time. But I wanted to say, I did want to ask you, is there something specific that you miss, like from not being able to sit with the people in the office? Like, I mean, okay, the like being around other people is one thing, but I mean, like for the actual work, is there something that you think is better to really be sitting together, or has it all been able to be taken care of by internet?
I think, yeah, I think there's obvious benefits to all being in the same room, and we've got these massive whiteboards, and we print loads of stuff up, and we always put them up on the magnetic boards, and talk about them and write on them and stuff like that. And we're having to find different ways to do that. And I think when it's not that busy and there isn't that much pressure, we can usually get away with one kind of Zoom meeting a day or something. But there was a case last week where we had 3 or 4 Zoom meetings within a few hours. Just to sort of have that communication because we had a really pressing deadline, and we all had to be talking to each other. Yeah, it is definitely challenging. So I think if we were mega busy and trying to balance multiple projects with concurrently, then yeah, we would definitely be missing out by not being together physically.
Yeah.
Do you think that clients might perceive lower value in your work because you guys are working from home?
I don't think so. I mean, I can see the situation where they might be concerned on whether or not we can deliver the same product by working from home. But I think everyone's in the same boat. All my clients are at home as well. So we've had some really funny situations. I've been seeing more of my clients than I do normally, because we're all on Zoom calls, and there's always funny situations where they've logged into the Zoom call from their laptop at home, and then they've also remoted into the office, and then they're logged into the Zoom call from that location as well, and then they're trying to share files, and it's everything's like chaos and nothing's working, the technology's going crazy and all sorts of stuff, or people are logging in twice, once with audio and once with video and stuff like this. What the heck?
Like, Josh, did you get my Word document with the plans and the elevations?
But it's also been good because I've been able to share my screen and this deal with some look through the project together, and because nobody likes that situation where the client comes over to the studio and kind of stands behind you, and that toilet thing. Where
now they do it on the camera. They're like,
well, yeah, but that's it, because when they're in the studio, sometimes they just don't go away, and you're sitting there going, why don't they just get lost, But with the Zoom call, you're like, oh no, sorry, I don't have premium, it's about to cut out,
Let's hope that they never watch this.
I don't think they will, unless you sent an email to them.
Hey guys, I'm talking about you. I love talking about clients. It's not always good stuff. I love the challenge of clients, to be honest.
Is there a funny story that you can share with us about your clients?
There are a lot of funny stories. I don't actually think that I can say any of them in a medium that can be accessed for the rest of eternity. So that's a conversation we'll have over.
Maybe an old client that never came back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to decline to answer that on the grounds that I may get myself in a real load of crap. But yeah, there's been some pretty funny ones.
Yeah, for those
really trying to dig the dirt.
For those who don't know Josh in his studio, he's working for some very big people a lot of times, so he could say one wrong thing here and career is over.
Like it says, there's 19 people watching at the moment. It's gone down. I think it's exactly like my client list since this show started.
Okay, you guys were just talking about. Oops. I had some audio playing. Hold on, I'm going to show you something on the screen.
It's fun. It's a funny time as well because previously I'd get a call, and let's say we're doing a project that's only going to run for a few days, and then they're like, "Hey, you know what? We should meet up. Why don't you come down to our office?" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" It's like 40 minutes to get there, and then they'll toot their own horn for 40 minutes, and then I've got 40 minutes to go back. I've lost half a day, you know. Whereas, you know, now you just jump on a Zoom call, and you know everyone's happy to do that. You know, what's it going to be? In previously, we weren't really using video conference as a way to discuss projects, but now we're doing it all the time. So, what does that mean for the future? You know?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, everything's changed so much. You know, I find it really hard to believe. You know, six months ago, or December last year, I was flying over Tokyo in a helicopter for a film shoot. You know, and I just when I think about that now, I'm like, wow. You know, when is that ever going to happen again? You know,
you know what's happening to me? I'm watching movies and I see people shaking hands, and I'm like, they're crazy.
Can you imagine in like 50 years when they talk about how people used to shake hands or something, you know? And then everyone's sneezing into their elbows now.
I watched
That's
the whole,
weird,
what was this thing on Netflix about the Bulls and all that? It was the same thing. I was watching and I'm like, oh man, look at all these people watching sports all together, you know, like thousands and thousands of people all sitting next to each other, yelling and screaming and spitting on each other.
Well, that sounds like Soho in London last weekend, so...
So I want to show you guys something. I'm going to put this up on the screen real quick because, you know, you were talking about that GIF of the guy like telling the guy to move the toilet around, whatever. Well, some studio.
Yeah, everyone loves this one. That's a good one, isn't it?
Some studio, like a motion graphics studio. I think they're in Riga, they're in Latvia or somewhere. But it's hilarious because they made like a cartoon out of this in 3D. Let me show it to you. It's really, it's really funny. I'm going to play it because it's quite funny. Hold on. Let me find the... I have so many things open here. But I just thought that this was... it's a great idea, like to like co-opt these things and use it as a way to like generate an idea just for fun. And they're using it to like look for somebody to work. Like it's a job, like a job opening, which is even funnier because, you know, they're... the art director's the guy sitting behind the other guy. Like, move it this way a little bit, whatever. Anyway, I thought that was really hilarious, and I just wanted to share it because you guys were talking about that, and yeah.
All right, look at that, yeah.
I could be that kind of art director, to be honest.
Oh, I would love the opportunity to do that. I'm actually going to contact them. This is like me at home when my kids fill the dishwasher. I'm like, no, this goes over to the left. Okay, that one goes here. Yeah, this one goes here. Yeah. So.
Josh. Listen, Josh, we've been asking all the people that we've interviewed during the lockdown to share with us whether or not they learned any new skill thanks to the lockdown. Have you learned anything?
I probably lost a few steps, to be honest. It's been bloody diabolical. It's, you know, when we started this thing, we basically pulled out our kitchen, and then the first day of the lockdown was the day that our new kitchen was supposed to arrive. And then with the kids not being in school, it's basically took us 4 months to refurb the kitchen, which should have taken about 4 weeks. And with the kids not in school, it's been bloody diabolical. So no, I've not learned to knit. I've not learned to bake sourdough, although I already know how to bake sourdough. But the thing is, I've barely baked anything because I've been so diabolically busy. So, you know, trying to balance, you know, the failure that is homeschooling.
Actually,
running a
like
business and keeping...
Australians are very good at making sourdough.
Yeah, it's something that I've been doing for a few years, actually. My wife gave me a voucher for a class at a local bakery where I live. There's a place called Today Bread, and their bread's amazing. And I came away from that with a starter and a recipe, and you know, I've been baking ever since.
So okay, then I apologize to everyone who's watching. Please explain to me how you make your bread go like up.
You shove it in the oven.
Now, come on.
You mean like before you bake it, or what? Like to rise?
Yeah, like what what is the secret of a good rice?
Do you put a wet cloth over it?
It's all about the hydration, the amount of water in there, and the way that you fold it, and actually in having good flour as well. From what I can tell, I mean, if someone could tell me the secret, I could probably improve my bread quite a lot.
Oh, Simon!
It's like anything.
Simon just
break it down.
Stopped by.
Oh, hey Simon, and also Johan. What's up,
You
Johan?
know, the other thing is that while the kitchen died, my starter also died as well. So I actually had to make a new starter from scratch, which was kind of fun. So yes, I did learn something new because I've never done that before.
You never done a starter?
I've never made my own starter before, no, but I have now.
I'm
and this
so
really
proud
easy.
of
You
my starter.
basically just leave flour and water on the bench for a week.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually really simple.
But Fabio, did you get yours going? Because I thought at one point you were talking about how you were having trouble with it, right?
Oh man, should I go and get it? All right.
If you want. Okay, this passes for entertainment these days, Josh.
What have you learned, Jason? What new amazing skill have you figured out?
Well, I've definitely learned to be nicer to my family. It sounds like a joke, but it's not, because it's like what I mean by that is it's been quite interesting to have, to be with the family all the time. Like this, we never did this before, probably in our life, this many days in a row where you're always around each other and everything's there.
Wow, look at that. That's pretty good.
This one, I fed it today and it was right here. And now it's up there. Look at this.
Wow. That looks really, look at that. That looks incredible.
I'm so proud of it. And it smells delicious.
Well, at least that's good. It doesn't stink.
I'm gonna make a video on my YouTube channel on how to make the best sourdough, because I really got the hang of it.
That's good.
Do it.
Yeah, but I think, Josh, I don't know. I think that that was an interesting side effect. I play cards with at least one of my daughters and Hazy, my wife, every day. We play cards like in the evening. We play rummy, and this is like I actually get a little bit of withdrawals if I don't play each day. It's kind of funny in a way, but I don't know. I guess you start to realize like it's. I realized how much I wasn't seeing them, before. It's kind of crazy in a way.
Yeah. It's quite funny because in some ways I feel a bit bad that, we're in this situation where we're all locked in and we're locked in our house or whatever. We are here, but there's so much stuff to do. I feel like we should be spending, more of that time with them, but it's difficult to really manage your time and make the most of it. I mean, the kids think it's great. Max never wants to go back to school again. He's like the best thing about lockdown is no SATs. SATs is like the test that they give kids in year 2, but that's another topic of conversation. He's like, the new SATs, so.
Yeah, my daughter is almost. Let's see, she will be next year. She will be finishing, I believe. Yeah, I think next year she's finishing school, which is unbelievable to me. But she'll be finishing, high school, and they have to do there's like a test at the end, an oral test to get the Matura, it's called in Austria, so to graduate. And she was listening this year that like the kids won't have to do the oral examination because of everything that was going on. They only had to do like a written one. And she was really, really pissed off. Like she was like, why couldn't it happen next year? Because
she just wanted to do the oral one and not the written one.
No, they don't want to do the oral one. It's the one that's kind of annoying.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, they can't do it because it was in person and, you have to be there in front of people. But I just thought it was kind of. Yeah,
I suspect he doesn't want to do any of them.
Well, yeah, I mean that's part of it, I guess. But I don't know. The kids are pretty good. Both of them are pretty motivated. They do things on their own pretty much, and that's great. I think we had this conversation when I stayed with you that one time in London, and we had this conversation about the kids and how motivated they are or not motivated they are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a long time ago as well. You know, when's anything like that ever going to happen again?
Oh my God!
I know it totally sucks. It's like I actually was in London too, right there before everything started happening, and I stayed with a friend
Yeah,
of mine
right.
from my
We met
hometown.
up at the conference in West London, didn't
Exactly,
we?
yeah.
I remember talking about this virus in China and what's going to happen, and you know, and it's interesting to look at where we are now after the UK government has completely ballsed everything up.
Yeah, exactly. There was a guy there at the Vertex who he's one of Fabio Dagnano's partners with in the university there and in Venice, and he came to that from Venice, and I was actually hung out with him, and I got sick afterwards, so I blamed him, for it. He came from Italy, so.
Well, I remember then that was the time when people like Sony were cancelling shoots and stopping all travel as well. You know, all the big business.
Yeah,
so,
it was all crazy because I was talking to Jeff too, and he was like, we were talking, and then I didn't see him for a while, and then I came back, saw him later, and he was like, oh man, I just heard that whatever X company's not going to go to any events now or whatever. Like it was happening right at that time that we were there.
Yes, yes, was shutting down, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Crazy days.
Yeah, it was totally crazy, but I have to say we have some really amazing sponsors who we have contact with. Nothing is really settled with or whatever, but they're pretty supportive, and I think that's great. And I think also the way that you guys doing the 3DS London, this is also fantastic. That I'm glad to see that the people are still supporting what we're doing out there, and it's really important because it's hard. It's not so easy at the moment. So.
Yeah, 3DS London, I think, has been a real success story during the lockdown. I know that Nigel's listening, so I'll have to give him a little bit of credit for all the hard work he's been doing. I mean, we were already going to broadcast the events live from the pub in London. That was on the cards already. So when this happened, we were already in a position where we could shift it to an online event, and I think it's at the moment I think it's been incredibly successful.
Yeah, I've had always a lot of fun.
Silence.
No, I've always had a lot of fun to be there, and
I think it's great what Nigel and you guys are organizing with the 3DS London Online.
You love the cocktails, don't you, Fabio?
Guys, you guys keep talking. I hear my cat doing something in the background. I'm kind of worried. Hold on.
This is like a Zoom meeting with a client.
No,
yeah.
Seriously, I think that those hangouts that you're doing with the community, I think they're amazing.
Yeah. I'm really happy with how it's going. I see. Even if we do go back to the pub, I still, there's definitely going to be this online element to it. I think,
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to do for those who cannot join in person anyway.
I really miss not going to the venue, Truckles, the pub, because what is missing is all of the networking and socialization and. A lot of people just go there not to listen to the talks, but just to hang out and talk to everyone and meet everyone and be involved in the community really. And and now with because we're doing it all online, that is just that's the bit that's missing. There's good banter in the chat windows, so that's interesting, but it doesn't really make up for the fact that we're not all having a beer in the pub together.
Yes, it's true. It's true. But I don't know, I remain positive. I think that people want to go back to live their life in the normal way, if you like. It will take a little bit of time, obviously. But I guess that everybody's committed to make sure that the virus goes away. At least that's what I hear in Austria, in Europe. Here in Tel Aviv, it's a little bit weird because, the government, people don't trust them. And so everything that the government says, people are like, oh, that's not true, but people are afraid, and so they're wearing masks.
Yeah, I don't think that the people in the UK have a lot of faith in the way that the government is dealing with it either. And we actually, I closed the office before the government advised us to do it. I told, first of all, I said to everyone, look, if you want to work from home, you can work from home. And then a week later, I said, look, okay, no, I actually want you to work from home. And it was another 2 weeks or something before the government, announced the lockdown. So we just, yeah.
How long are you guys still supposed to be in lockdown in England?
There's been a general easing last weekend. A lot of shops are opening, restaurants are opening, barbers are opening. Thank God. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I don't even know anymore. I'm enjoying hanging out in the park with the kids, and like one of the great things about this is that the whole sense of local community has been strengthened in a big way. Like I've clubbed in with a bunch of my local pals, and we all buy meat from this Smithfield butcher, who would normally be selling meat to restaurants that have all been closed. So we're getting massive orders of meat coming from this fantastic butcher at a great price, and it's like a community thing. There's like 10 of us doing it or something, There's been loads of little things like this, and also all like the local street. We've all got like a WhatsApp group that we can all chat on if anyone needs anything, or if there are people who are shielding, for example, and you might need something like milk or whatever, or
What do you mean shielding?
So yeah. It's the term they use in the UK for people who are at high risk. So if you're elderly or diabetic, or if you have a heart condition, or
So just people who are at like high risk for going out and stuff like that.
Exactly. So if you're high risk, then maybe you don't want to go to the shop and buy some milk. So
yeah,
you
of course.
This could be one way for people to just say, I'm 65. Could you do the shopping and leave it outside of my door for free?
Well, you know what? I was chatting with my dad today, who's 80 something, and he, he's in good health, but it's definitely a high risk. And, him and his wife, they're not, they're trying not to go out as much as possible. And I'm like, so have you got some help, doing shopping and stuff? And they're like, no, there's, people around here are bloody useless, and this. Where they had to wave someone down in a passing car and ask them to go and buy some milk for them or something. It was like, there's not much community infrastructure, and I found it quite surprising, and we do all our shopping online here anyway, but that's just been really reinforced in the last 6 months, or 3 months, sorry. And in Australia, where my parents live, there just isn't those kind of things available.
It's we did this for Hazy's for my wife's parents and aunt and uncle who lived next to us, and we did all the shopping for the first while, and I have to say it was a little bit overwhelming because every time we go shopping we were buying for 3 families, and it was kind of like, man, this is like, I was like, I don't know how long I can do this, but
yeah. I've been to the supermarket a couple of times. It's not really a very comfortable experience, and I've also been to this workplace for a shoot on the LED live production stage that I mentioned before, and that was also a bit kind of awkward because everyone's kind of trying to work together, but also trying to stay away from each other, and fastidiously wiping keyboards and wearing masks and rubbing hands and all sorts of stuff. So. It does feel. It feels like you're kind of doing something naughty that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit crazy because here in Austria, if you went to the store, the only way that something even happened was they have the plexiglass between the person who's checking you out or whatever and the thing. And if you go in a restaurant, you might not even notice it. It's crazy. Like I I'm a little worried there's going to be some jump in the numbers because it really feels like back to normal a little bit here.
It's
But,
all, I mean,
yeah.
it's all mixed messages, isn't it? You know? You can,
Well, I mean, no.
Yeah.
Let me clarify. In Austria, that's allowed now. Like they went through. We have been through all of the other stages. Like we had masks everywhere. You had to wear masks. You couldn't. Restaurants weren't. Everything was closed. There was nothing open. Only supermarkets. So
well, yeah.
there was no. They were pretty consistent here. Actually, I think they did a pretty good job. You know, consistently. But hey there, how you
But the
doing?
thing is, you know,
Oh, she can't hear me.
oh, she can hear you. Yeah, she can definitely hear. She's got chocolate all over her face. Why
Hi.
do you got chocolate all over your face? Because you've been eating chocolate. Fantastic. Oh no, what happened there? The dog bit you.
Josh, it's dinner time. It's dinner time. You eat chocolate. What is the problem? It's quarantine. You can eat what you want.
It's a complete social breakdown in my house. Basically, it's TV all day and chocolate for dinner. And that's just me.
Yeah.
What's her name, Josh?
What's your name? I've got a boy named Max, a girl named Maya, and a dog named Blender.
Oh yeah, the dog is named Blender.
This is Eloise. So, do you want to say hello to the entire world, Eloise? No.
You have
19 people want to hear from you.
19 people looking at you.
There's 19 people ready to hear what you want to say, Eloise.
I have to say,
Eloise did this wonderful thing. Can I show you this? Look.
oh,
Go
awesome.
on, give it a good kiss.
She's a drummer.
That's
the noise cancelling from NVIDIA.
that's
I'm using RTX voice, which cancels out even children screaming when I'm on.
yeah, you can't hear it. Whoa, it's crazy. You can't hear it.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
So I have to say, Eloise, I had a great time when I came to visit the one time, and I hope to see you again sometime. It was so much fun.
Do you remember, Eloise? Do you remember Jason? He came to visit us, didn't he? Do you remember him?
Nah,
No.
it's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna cry tonight. Cry myself to sleep tonight. But
Yeah.
so, Josh, you
So,
know that we've been talking for an hour already. Doesn't seem like it. It's I had really good time talking to you. It's always fun.
I'm a bit surprised actually. I don't even know what we've been talking about. Not much. It doesn't feel like.
But it's been incredibly interesting.
Yeah, and we've actually had a pretty nice amount of people watching, which is great. It means people like you. I don't think it's because they like us. I think they like you.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Otherwise, we would do those numbers every week, but we don't.
So, Josh, but I mean, Fabio, do you have anything else you want to ask? Otherwise, I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Nothing. I just wanted to give you a compliment for your hat.
Thank you.
I really like it.
Thank you very much.
Like Patagonia?
It is, yeah. It's a lockdown hat because I'm beginning to look a little bit like Robinson Crusoe if I don't wear it. So
Is that like the California pair?
yes, it is. Yes.
All right. Love it. Anyway.
It was a gift my wife brought back for me from when she was in California earlier this year, which would probably never happen again as well.
Say goodbye to traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad.
Josh, thanks a lot for hanging out with us. It was a real pleasure. And I hope that you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, there. Sorry. Sorry.
All right, and he's done.
Yeah, no, listen, thanks. Well, there you are. I took the words right out of my mouth. Thanks so much for having me on, and it's always a pleasure to chat.
It canceled everything out.
Okay, that's funny the first time, though. No, that's enough. Could you please go and get that to my more phone, please?
But Jason, I guess that the reason why your voice gets muted or made like a lot softer, it's because of the noise canceling.
You think so?
Probably.
I don't think I have this this kind of special.
Yeah, are you doing noise cancelling as well?
I don't think I have this.
No, I
special
guess
equipment.
it's the sound of everybody's affected when the noise canceling is happening.
Perhaps.
Oh,
Anyway,
might have to
Josh,
test that.
thank you so much for joining us, and I really
Do you know what?
appreciate it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is much easier than when I presented at the D2 a couple of years ago. There you go. There's the crazy hair.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, before I went on stage, I remember Fabio's like, "Oh, hi, Josh, how are you?" And then he's like, did Jason check your talk? And I'm like, "No, what for?" And he's like, "Well, Jason's got to check everything." And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And sent me into a sheer panic, and I had to go back to the toilet again.
Oh my goodness!
So yeah, it's been a lot easier than standing up in front of 450 people and doing it. So
yeah, it should be, because the idea is like the idea is that people can look in on a conversation that we might have if we were standing outside drinking a beer together. That's the idea, right? So yeah. It's not supposed to be formal or anything, and it's supposed to be fun. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're not putting. Oh my gosh, it's gonna go out the window. Oh.
So, but Josh, thanks a lot. We're gonna stop the live show now. Thanks everybody to joining us this evening. We'll be back again next week. We'll see you again then. But Josh, I'm gonna stop the feed now, and we'll say goodbye afterwards. So, thanks a lot for being here.
Amazing.
Good night,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone,
Bye.
and don't forget. Gary, let's be friends, subscribe, and soon we will be live at the D2 conference with a full week of content, and it's going to be amazing. And that's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And I'm going to repeat what he said, because the noise canceling, I think, chopped off something he said. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so right now. That is the last thing I'm going to say. Appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week. Same place, same time. Fabio, do you want to have the last word?
No, that's fine. Oh,
That's the last word.
Okay, Josh, you have the last word. You say something, and I'm going to end the stream right afterwards. How about let's do that?
All right. Thank you, Fabio and Jason. Keep up the fantastic work, and good night, everyone.
All right, it's over.